we are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm. Because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, dope people? Welcome to Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the Woo crew. Hey, it's your host, one of your co-hosts, Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, and we got the vet of the squad, Flannel Sam Reynolds. What up, dope brother? Looking crispy down there.
I appreciate that. Whether Stick and Terry Foster are looking crispy or not, I'm not sure after the beatdown that I gave him yesterday. You should check on them. That's who you should really check on, because I am fine. Because the reality of the situation is, whatever they want to say, Riley Green will be in that All-Star game next Tuesday, and they can cry about it all they want. And I'll be cheering.
You called it for like what, months? You know, you have to see it come to fruition. It's like, you know what? Hey, being on this show wasn't a surprise or a shock to me. Some of the disdain, some of the surprise that I see from even so-called Tigers supporters has just been like, this is why y'all need to be tapped in to Wake Up Woodward.
Factual.
We would have had you guys, I'm telling you, the ball knowledge on this show. And Pup.
Yeah, and
superb.
And I'm not one to victory lap or anything like that. For real, I really try not to do that. It's just that
I win, you lose.
remember on before this baseball season even started, because people forget. People like to remember one of all of the wrong things that I say. I was always from the very beginning. One of the things that I think you will all remember is when I said before the year, I like Spencer Torkelson, but I love Riley Green. I said that.
Yeah.
I said that.
I remember it too, and that's why I was like,
win, you lose.
you know what, man? Hey, shout out to that dude, Justin, in the sound booth. I know KG is on the way as well. Woodward Sports MVP. It's a Tuesday in the Titty booth. That is JB Smooth. What up, though, brother?
Hello. Hello.
Hey, and that dude, Justin. What up, though, with you too, brother? Hey, I'm good. Mike.
Can't hear you, baby boy.
It's all right. It's been a while. Still on vacation mode, I guess. But, yeah, it's nice to be back. I'm glad to be in the studio, and I missed you guys. So, glad to be tapped in.
Hey, definitely, brother. Glad to have you back. And Matthew Broder, our credentialed Tigers and Lions reporter and writer for the network. What up, though, brother?
Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi.
Hi. I love that shirt every single time.
Oh, thank you. Common Sense Cow, V Friends.
Yep.
Yesterday was one of those shows where I wish Sam Flannel had the Woo crew behind him, because that was just getting outrageous. That's what I imagine everyone was thinking about when I tried to take the J-Mo is better than CeeDee Lamb stance against you. That's how outrageous some of the takes against you yesterday sounded. Riley Green's an all-star, and it's not even close.
Well, and that's all well and good. Here's where maybe I could have done something a little bit differently. Can I be honest? I was prepared for a show in which it was going to be a lot of kumbaya. But from basically minute one, Terry Foster's like, you know what? I don't think Riley Green's an all-star.
Throw the script out the window.
Dude.
Terry Foster, man, you know, he's a legend.
He is elite.
He's elite at this stuff.
Yes,
man.
he is. And you know, we're going to get to it in the next segment, but I probably could have kept my cool a little bit more, but the whole Riley Green shouldn't be an all-star game, it kind of gets at some of the fundamental things that I don't like about fandom and even baseball fandom. But what I did, and this is something that I did do, I tried to get to the psychology or reasons why some people doubt Riley Green. And I'll give you the reasons why I think some people do in the next segment.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. Hey, Mr. Matthew.
Yes.
Would you like to tell the people what we are talking about today?
I would. We're going to hit the Tigers
Matthew.
a lot in this first segment, this first hour, I should say. We're coming to the RESCWUW, Woo to the rescue here in the next segment. We are going to revisit that Riley Green conversation just to put a cherry on top. Let people know that that man does deserve to be in the All-Star game. At 8:30, we're going to get into some Tuesday trade talk. It's going to be centered around Tarek Skubal. It can involve Matthew Judon. I don't know if he had a Pistons one cooked up, but feel free, actually not feel free, please call in and tell us, would you consider trading Tarek Skubal or Matthew Judon, or if there's a trade scenario you have in mind, call us, be direct, be clear, and give us a question to debate here on the show. But we want to hear why, especially, you would consider trading Tarek Skubal or why it's not the right move. So we're going to spend a lot of time on that in the first segment. We're going to jump into, we got the Pistons coming up in the second segment. But first, I want to talk about the Lions defensive line. We're going to have the Matthew Judon conversation, but the defensive line, especially a certain duo on that defensive line, I know Flannel's a fan of one of them. They're getting some recognition as one of the best in the league. So I had fun talking Lions yesterday. We're getting back into our groove after about a week off, less than 2 weeks until training camp. So let's get rolling.
Let's get rolling. Hey, listen, people, that phone number is 313-552-6322. Once again, 313-552-6322. If you saw yesterday's Big D Energy, you saw how spicy it got with Terry Foster and Stick and my brother here, Flannel Sam. If you agree, if you disagree, we want you guys to be able to call in. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to the segment, my brother. And you guys already know, before I throw this thing back over to Broder for the layup lines, you guys got to satisfy that like button. I need you guys to go ahead and smash it. Treat it nice.
Oh. Smash it.
Treat it right. Hey, you guys already know, man. Satisfy that like button. I don't hear the music. Hey, there we go.
Take that flannel off, Flannel. Take it.
Even Flannel's in the mood.
Can we get a button unbutton?
Like button.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, there is some tension I could release, but we'll see
How's
later.
your wives?
Let's take this out to Vegas.
That's right.
Actually, I don't know if they're not in Vegas. Where's Team USA practicing? They're practicing somewhere. They're in a gym. But Jalen Duren.
They're in the gym.
There's a gym with a floor and 2 hoops.
Correct.
Jalen Duren, I know there's a lot of
confirmed.
talk, but I saw some clips of him throwing some dunks down here. They're practicing. He's on Team USA Select, practicing with the Team USA basketball team.
Yes, sir.
I know people have been commenting on Joel Embiid's defense or this and that, but Jalen Duren looked good. I forgot to ask JB before because we were having some software issues. Safe to say that video's not ready?
Give me a sec. You can keep talking.
All right, we'll move on from that. He's dunking. We'll show it later in the Pistons segment. But do you guys see the news about Cam Sutton? Steelers cornerback Cam Sutton.
No.
He gets knocked with an 8-game suspension, which I think is good.
Yeah.
I don't know all the details about it, but he has been suspended 8 games. He'll be eligible to return October 29th. And nothing's come out about the money involved with the Lions, but my guess is, and let me know if you guys know, this could be a positive outcome in terms of the Lions trying to recoup some of that guaranteed bonus or that guaranteed money that they paid him.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Cam Sutton?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and this is something that I think that the Lions front office value. They were cleaning house is basically what they did. I understand that the charges and the situation didn't turn out as severe as a lot of us thought, especially when he was on the run and nobody knew where he was, or there were some days where it's like, is this guy even still alive, given that he was so far off the grid?
Right.
But just all of the trouble that it caused, given the fact that he was probably facing a suspension, given the fact also that he wasn't really one of the standout players on that Lions team. I'm not saying he was in the best position, and he'll always have some reverence for being on that team that was the best team in Detroit Lions history, at least in the Super Bowl era. But Cam Sutton had to go. And now he's with the Steelers, an organization where he thrived with at some point, and he's kind of their problem now. And maybe the Pittsburgh is the environment he needs to be in.
And you know, though the Detroit Lions may benefit, I'm glad that they did the right thing from the start and stood on business from the start. Rod Wood stood in front of the media and said, listen, within 24 hours of us understanding what was going on, we told him what to do. We gave him 24 hours. He didn't do that. Sayonara.
Yeah.
We don't really care if it cooks any aspect of our cap sheet. They handled this thing, in my opinion, the right way, because you have to take this serious. If he's not going to take it serious, whether he did it or didn't do it, at that time, they didn't know anything. We were all saying at the same time, like, hey, brother, just turn yourself in and handle whatever has to be handled. The Detroit Lions said, listen, we're here to support you if you do the right thing. He chose not to have any communication. they cut it from the team.
They did. So, a little former Lions news, but I got a question to pose here in Layup Lines while we get warmed up for the next segment. Riley Green, Tarek Skubal, both named to their first All-Star game. So I want to ask you guys, the entire crew, who will be the next Detroit athlete to be selected to their first career All-Star game or equivalent Pro Bowl? And I put a couple options in there. Cade Cunningham, Mo Sider, Lucas Raymond, Jamison Williams, and Colt Keith. Who's going to be the next Detroit athlete to be named to their first All-Star game?
I'm going to tee this up. I don't know what people's answers are, but I just feel like it has to be a Detroit Red Wing.
Well, I'm cheating a little bit. But you know what? I'm cheating for the good of what I think Detroit sports will be. I think that Cade Cunningham, Mo Sider, and Lucas Raymond will all make it this year. I really do.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
I think
that gets me pumped up.
I think Cade Cunningham, Mo Sider, and Lucas Raymond will all make it.
Let's go.
And the thing is, that's not really unfounded.
Randall's cooking.
Cade Cunningham put up all-star numbers. If he would have put those numbers up on a better team, he probably would have gotten in. Mo Sider last season was second in the NHL in block shots.
Preach.
Lucas Raymond, especially towards the end of the year, but even over the totality of the season, he had 72 points in 82 games. If he's a point-a-game guy, he'll probably get in. So if all of them take even the slightest leap, or in the case of the Pistons, they don't even really... Cade doesn't even necessarily need to take a leap. He's going to benefit more from a better team around him. They will all make it.
I'm just giving that a second to breathe.
Yes.
Because that was perfect.
Yep.
That was perfect.
Appreciate it.
Well stated.
KG, JB?
I would definitely say Cade is next up because, like Sam said, he's already putting up the all-star numbers, and with better floor spacing and better veterans on the floor, if he can raise his point total by like a point and a half, he's already in there. He's got everything else. So I would say Cade is probably next up out of all those guys.
Set up for a little bit more success when we get into the Detroit Pistons segment. I do have some concerns about the middle of the paint, but you know what? Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren, they've shown the capability. It's just a matter of if they can execute on a consistent basis, especially longer into the season. They did it very well in the beginning of the season. Injuries kind of derailed them in the long losing streak, and they never quite found that same kind of ferocity that they had in the paint.
Yeah. I think people forget, and I don't blame them. It was a very forgettable season. That Isaiah Stewart, I think if he plays even 65 games, that maybe the Pistons don't set their franchise record for losses in a season. And I get it. Some people might say it's just Isaiah Stewart, but and I know this is a hypothetical, but Kool-Aid. Mm-hmm. And I've come around a lot on Isaiah Stewart. Just imagine if he were even 6'10" and could still shoot threes like that, and had more of the body to be a very effective rim protector.
Be a lot better.
He does his best, but he's only 6'8", maybe 6'7".
Yeah, he has all the instinct. He's jumping at the right time for certain blocks. He just doesn't have the measurables.
Little man syndrome.
Yeah,
at 6'8".
He's kind of a tweener.
6'8".
But you know what? Let's see if he can get better, because Ben Wallace wasn't that tall either. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he's Ben Wallace. What I'm saying is, we see that it's been done, and the type of worker that Isaiah Stewart has shown himself to be, the way that he keeps himself in shape. You know what? If he goes into the lab and there's somebody there who can help him work on that vertical a little bit more and being able to use his strengths to his ability even more, Isaiah Stewart is a baller. That's somebody that I'm like, you know what? Is he one of the more likely trade candidates? Yes, because he's a valuable player.
Yeah.
Look what he's done. He's improved in so many different categories. But if you can find a way to get the best out of Isaiah Stewart, you want him on the Detroit Pistons. He's a heart and soul type of a player.
And I'll tell you what, and I get it, it's just track record, but JB Bickerstaff and Isaiah Stewart, they seem like a match that could work. Isaiah Stewart seems like the type of player that JB Bickerstaff would like to mold into an even better player.
That's a great point.
We shall see.
That's a great point.
I gotta admit to you guys, when I put this question in the sheet, I didn't expect it to lead to a conversation about Isaiah Stewart.
That's fair.
Compared to Ben Wallace. But it went there.
It went there.
It went there. I was probably gonna go with Cade Cunningham, by the way. But I was thinking last night when we were in a little mini debate in our group text talking about the baseball All-Star game, the MLB All-Star game, and Marcus Semien starting at second base. I'm like, second base, Colt Keith. If he is a big 2025, big start to the season, that's the type of position where you might have the best path. But then Chuck Brewer reminds me, NHL All-Star Game is before the NBA All-Star Game, so it's probably going to be one of the Red Wings.
Sure. And just one quick correction. Marcus Simeon didn't start. He was the backup.
He was back,
Jose
but
Altuve
still,
would start. Yeah,
be
yeah.
named to it.
Yes,
Marcus
100%.
Simeon's an all-star.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that shit pisses me off. But we'll get into that a little bit more.
Yes.
That's all right.
Yes. Take us to the next. I don't know what read is first, but we got to talk about this Tigers game last night and then defend our boy Sam Flannel.
These
from the
Tigers.
slanderous
Man,
Yes, the slander.
Perry and
you
Stick.
got another hit, Sam.
I am
all right.
excited about this Tiger segment because you know what? They started off the gauntlet with a win.
They did.
What if they work this thing out?
Hey, what if they work this thing out? What am I doing? Bicep curls. And you can do them at Planet Fitness. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 Adventure Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the Planet Fitness Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa, featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at RandyWiseBuickGMC.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
Dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues, Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. With 10 plus years of experience and 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on the screen or call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
They've got your back. Wake Up Woodward has your back. And chat family, I know you guys have our back. So go on ahead and smash that like button. Satisfied, treat her right. And what up, though? KG.
What up, man? Good, man. Sam Flannel had another hit yesterday, man. He don't be playing.
Another one. He does.
He don't be playing.
He doesn't. And you know what? The Detroit Tigers, they got a hit. They got 7 hits, actually, in a game that they won 1-0 over the Cleveland, get this right, Guardians. That's the name. Cleveland Guardians. Hey, shout out to our guy, Shelby Miller, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, for real though, Shelby Miller, pretty much from the time where he came to the studio up until about a week ago, was the worst relief pitcher in the world. But these last couple games, including getting a big save yesterday, he's been clean. Yep. And that was a huge outing for him. And he was able to get through it 1, 2, 3 and not have the gauntlet of having to face Jose Ramirez. So that is absolutely huge. But yeah, people can poo-poo the win all that they want, that it doesn't really matter, or that they only scored 1 run and it's not sustainable. But here's what I liked about it. 1, it's Cleveland. This year's Cleveland, who is leading the division by however many games. I think they're still 14 ahead of the Tigers. They're going to be a playoff team. They're going to win this division. So getting wins against them, especially at home, is absolutely critical, especially if you want to stay in the race. So get them any way you can. And also, the fact that primarily Cater Montero, along with, of course, Tyler Holton and Shelby Miller, were able to hold Jose Ramirez, David Fry, and Stephen Kwan to a combined 0 with no walks. That's absolutely huge.
Huge.
We talk about this Tigers pitching staff, and you put something out on X the other day, Broder. You reposted something where this is the first time the Tigers have had 3 pitchers at this point in the season with ERAs of under 3.25 since 1972. That's something that the 06 team didn't do, the 2012 team didn't do, and the 84 team didn't do. Well, the Tigers got a shutout over the Guardians and held all 3 of those All-Stars hitless, and it was Cater Montero. So the point I'm making is that their pitching is good enough. Casey Mize, even when he was healthy, was having a solid season, not terrible. He wasn't pitching you out of games. And Cater Montero, who before the season was the number 3 Tigers pitching prospect, if he can come in and fulfill some of the promise that he has had, then maybe this team can go somewhere. That was a very, very big win for the Tigers, and it starts off this 7-game homestand against Cleveland and Los Angeles on a high note. I said on yesterday's show, and I got mocked a little bit, but I don't care. If the Tigers want to even have any hope of dreaming of maybe sneaking into the wild card, maybe thinking of buying, maybe thinking of not selling, you got to go at least 4-3 on this homestand. That was a good start.
Hey, and you know what? Is this a real stat? Shout out to Edge in the chat. The Tigers are 41-26 with scoring 2 runs.
Yeah.
2 runs.
Yeah.
That's a 99 win pace. Speak on this.
Isn't that wild? Jim Costa put that out yesterday on top of a tweet from Chris Brown of the Tigers minor league report. And I think this might be a more wild stat.
So
43-39 when they score 1 run.
Wow.
They're 4 games over 500 when they just score a run.
Insane.
When they just score 1 run. That's wild. That's wild. It points to the biggest issue this whole season has been their offense. But like Sam said, seeing Cater Montero come up and pitch like he did yesterday, he actually pitched great.
Yep.
Like 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. What was it? 6.1 innings pitched, 3 hits. But it was going after those guys like Jose Ramirez. He attacked them. I think it was the second at bat, struck out Jose Ramirez on 3 pitches. The third, just throwing 96 miles per hour heat in the at the top corner of the strike zone. It was great. He wasn't scared. That's your replacement for Jack Flaherty getting traded, or that's your replacement if Kenta Maeda can't figure it out. He's on the mound tonight, by the way, so hopefully we can keep this win streak going.
Shit.
But we can't, and Flannel and I were texting yesterday, we can't downplay how important this game was. Like to beat the Guardians 1-0 in this season, Guardians are running away with AL Central. A huge start to this road
and no
trip.
Scoobs in this Guardian series,
Unfortunately
right?
not.
And they got a dub already.
Yes.
That's one in the bank.
That's one in the bank. Javi Baez was back.
He was.
He went 1 for 3.
Oh, look at the correlation.
He would have had 2. My man's bobbled the shortstop. He bobbled the catch, but still got him out. But he would have had 2 hits.
That play was incredible, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know how
was.
that shortstop threw him out from left field. That was great. But that first inning ground ball up the middle, we know Ryan Kreidler isn't making that play. Riley Green, Mr. Unlucky. He had two hard hit balls in his first 2 at bats. The first one, I think Evan Petzel put out, it would have been a home run in 11 of 30 ballparks.
Yep.
The second one was to the warning track in dead center. It wouldn't have been a home run in any ballpark, but he crushed it. Then it was the foul ball, the ball that hit the chalk. That they
got
somehow
reviewed.
ruled they overturned it and called it a foul ball. I still don't understand that.
It was the right call. Unfortunately,
I'm not a physics man. I'm not Albert Einstein. I don't know how that much white chalk comes up if it doesn't hit that line. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then lastly, the diving play by the second baseman later on in the game. Riley Green hit well yesterday, went 0 for.
Oh, I'm sure people in the chat will victory lap me. Or if Terry Foster was here, you see your man went 0 for 4. You see that? You see? Jesus Christ.
People are uneasy about Kenta Maeda on the mound tonight.
They should. He gave up 9 earned runs his last start. Like, come on now. What are we doing?
Everyone believes the win streak is over, but I mean, look, who believed that they were going to go in and take game 1 of this Guardian series? Obviously, I'm not betting on Maeda, but if the Tigers find a way to do the unthinkable, what a start to the road trip.
Yeah, or the homestand.
Yeah,
the homestand.
Yeah, the homestand. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's might as well be a road trip, given that the teams that you're playing, Cleveland and Los Angeles, both going to be. That might be the World Series matchup for all we know. But yeah, no, that's absolutely huge. And for the record, nobody is happy about Kenta Maeda being out there. But even if they lose tonight, or if they lose Wednesday, even if they only take 2 out of 4, don't get too discouraged. if you only take 2 out of 4, then you better take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. But my point is that just go 4-3. If you go 4-3 in this homestand, you can think to dream. Anything better than that, and I'm damn near looking at some reinforcements. I'll just say
back on the bandwagon.
No, and I'll be honest. People are going to call me a flip flopper, and rightfully so. I declared them dead once on air. I've declared them dead privately.
You've been a roller coaster this season, Sam.
I have, but here's the thing, though, and I'm not going to get too much into a soliloquy about this. I still believe maybe they've dug themselves too much of a hole, and that's all well and good. And of course, a guy like Kerry Carpenter being out, nobody talks about that enough, but he might have been their all-star. If he was in the lineup and never missed a bunch of games, and he was used more properly even when he was healthy, we might be talking about a 500 team with 3 all-stars.
Man.
Kerry Carpenter had a 914 OPS. If he was healthy, and if I think, and this is just my opinion, a lot of people might disagree, but I believe this fully in my heart. If AJ Hinch put together better lineup combinations, if he does that more moving forward, which I'm sure he won't, this is a team that's capable. We don't need to opine about what Chris Ilitch and Scott Harris didn't do. Should they have gotten a bat? Should they have drafted Wyatt Langford? Maybe. Would they have helped the team? Sure. But I think they have enough right here.
Enough. You can see
I think
the formula.
They do. I think they do. I believe they do. I'm not ready to just give up and say, Jesus Christ couldn't manage this team. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They could do this if they really want to.
Jay Cruz in 71 said it has to be opposite day somewhere.
Is it because I'm so positive?
Yeah.
So we bring it out of him.
Let's rock.
We bring it out of him. Now let's talk about stolen bases and bunts. No, we actually might get into that here in a little bit, but we got to defend him first. And this will also carry us into the next segment, so you guys go to break when you need to. But as I quoted myself in the show rundown. I told you guys I was today years old when I learned that 100% of the people thought Riley Green was not deserving of an All-Star game, or was deserving of an All-Star selection.
Yeah, that
said
less
that
than
yesterday.
100%.
I didn't realize this was even a thought. Like, JB, could you throw up that graphic just of the 4 outfielders in Riley Green? Just there. This is just a statistical comparison of the guys who were next in line. These were all voted ahead of him by the fans. They didn't get a starting spot. They didn't make the roster as a reserve. Riley Green made it in front of all 4 of these guys, as he should.
It looks appropriate.
Like, what are we? Where do any of them deserve to be in it over Riley Green?
No, none of them do.
0.
And that's for sure. The one thing that I will say that I probably failed to mention yesterday, because I wasn't quite prepared to have to defend Riley Green with my life. If there's one guy that you could say got snubbed, and I think he should have been in the All-Star game personally, and I think it should be relatively positionless, but we might talk about that a little bit more later, was Brent Rooker of the Oakland A's. He's a guy that by the numbers could have gotten in, but he also could have gotten in over Jarren Duran as well. I'm just saying that. But when you look at the stats that I value the most, walks, it was Riley Green when comparing the two. OPS was Brent Rooker. On-base percentage is a tie, and WAR is Riley Green. And if you want team wins to be the tiebreaker, this is living proof, and a lot of people don't like to admit this, but the Tigers are not the Oakland A's. Teams like the Oakland A's and the Chicago White Sox are actual gutter trash. The Tigers, they might end up being gutter trash, and I don't think a lot of us would be too surprised, but they're not there yet. They're not at the cellar.
Yeah.
So it's not the craziest thing in the world for them to get 2 All-Stars. It would be for the A's. I understand that argument because they're so bad, but I still think Brent Rooker and Riley Green should get in.
Yeah. And we've seen the Tigers run up against situations several times this season where we thought, oh, here go the wheels. They're going to fall off. But here they are, 5 games under 500. They have a great opportunity after winning this first game against the Guardians to say, you know what? Let's build on this foundation and this confidence. Let's see what we can do during this gauntlet of a schedule. Especially against 2 AL Central opponents in the Guardians and the Twins on the schedule. Twins are right after the Dodgers series, I believe?
I think that might be the first road trip coming out. But yeah, I mean, just even you got to beat your divisional teams as much as you can. And for the love of God, sweep the White Sox 6-0 in the second half of the season. For some reason, that would have just given me so much more of a comforting feeling that if you do nothing else, just sweep those bums on the south side of Chicago. But they let one slip away, but that's that's neither here nor there, but that might be one that if the Tigers miss the playoffs by a couple games, you're going to look back and be like, damn. Same with the Angels series where they lost 3 out of 4.
Phil says Tigers go on a 15-game winning streak.
Phil's
and they're
cooking.
back.
Phil is cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But you know what? I want to get more into this, but I got to tell you guys about something else that's the best. There's Shelby Miller's performance last night. There's Riley Green as an all-star. There's Flannel Sam, who's called this and has stood on business about this. And then there's Premier Pet. If you want to get your pet the best, you got to get them there. Why? Because it's hands down Michigan's best pet store. They offer all of the same prices and the conveniences of the online and big box retailers with one major difference. They've been family and locally owned and operated for over 30 plus years. Over 60 brands of food and nutrition experts to help you. Same day, local curbside and home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around. Who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda. A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. It's 24/7 professional monitoring, so you can call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone with you as long as needed, because it's technology backed by people, and your safety and security, it deserves technology that's been proven to work, and people have been proven to care. All you got to do is call this number right here, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Once again, that number is 1-800-STAY-OUT. Hey, as KG likes to say, welcome to the show, Freaky Broder.
Freaky ass Broder.
F-A-B. F-A-B for life.
Fabulous.
Hey, what up, though? Fabulous, man. I like Fabulous.
Fabulous is a good artist.
Yeah, good artist. Good culture artist, man. He can always catch the rhythm on the beat. Fabulous on that Throw It in the Bag remix. Dope. Shout out to Fabulous. Hey, a random Fabulous drop on the Wake Up Woodward show. Man.
Right? No. Shout out, man.
Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. That's Broder too, man. Culture Broder. Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for kicking off the day with the crew. Going ahead and smash that like button to support the Wake Up Woodward family. And we got the entire starting 5 plus a 6-man in the building. But we got to get back into this Riley Green discussion. Yeah. It's been something that you've been ahead of for some time. It's now come to fruition. There's still some people who probably don't even believe he deserves to be in the All-Star discussion, let alone an All-Star.
Yes, and I'm going to remind you of the numbers, plus give you some more, and then I'm going to give you a list of, I think, biases people have against Riley Green. And I want any of you in the chat, if you're not on the Riley Green train yet, to ask yourself, does this bias pertain to me? But first, Riley Green, just as a reminder, is tied for 3rd in Major League Baseball in walks. He's tied with Gunnar Henderson, only a top 5 player on the planet. He's 10th in the American League in OPS, above Jose Ramirez, all-star starter. He's tied for 6th in the American League in WAR. He's tied with Kyle Tucker, fellow AL outfield all-star. And he's tied for 6th among AL outfielders in on-base percentage. He's above Jarren Duran, a fellow AL all-star outfielder. But also, it goes even deeper than that. He has, if you want some of the more traditional stats, I can give you some of the more traditional stats. He has more home runs, Riley Green, than every single member of the National League starting outfield.
Boom.
He has more RBIs than both Christian Yelich and Fernando Tatis Jr., who are starting National League outfielders. And he has a higher wins above replacement than every single starting outfielder in the National League. And if you want to say, oh, it doesn't apply to the National League, he's an American leaguer. My point is to just give you some context of the season that Riley Green has had. Not that in some alternate universe he should be on it above guys like Christian Yelich and Jurickson Profar. It's just giving you some context. But that's not enough for some of you. And I put together a list of potential biases that I think people have against Riley Green. And I'm really not trying to be smarmy. I'm really not. JB, if you've got that list, throw it on up there and see if any of them apply to you.
Hold on, bro. You can't have that smirk after saying, I'm really not trying to be smart.
No. Number 1, the Tigers are a losing team. I see that. They're 5 games under 500. You may think just because of that no... You know,
it's actually a good list.
Yeah, like two Tigers.
I'm looking at it like, yeah, this is accurate.
That 2 Tigers players shouldn't be on this team, shouldn't be on this all-star team. And one person that I fought about this in the chat with is Chuck Brewer. And I'm not trying to single you out, but I think you told on yourself a little bit in the chat with 2 different things that you said. And this is Chuck Brewer. You need to read my whole Green issue if you're going to keep going after me. My issue has been from the start that with the Tigers record, I only want 1 Tiger. If I felt there were 2, Green is in. And just a couple seconds later, he says this: when are the pitching starters announced? I really have been tuned out of baseball for almost a decade. What that tells me is that you're not tuned in this year, that you're not actually watching. You just told on yourself. And oh, by the way, Chuck Brewer, I got something for you that will end your argument forever because you'll never admit this. You better at least admit this, or else you're completely just a fraud when it comes to this.
Complete.
The Texas Rangers. You better be outraged over the Texas Rangers having both Kirby Yates and Marcus Semien. Why do I single out the Texas Rangers? Because they have the exact same record as the Tigers. I bet you didn't know that. Because, Rangers are defending World Series champions. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Max Scherzer, DeGrom, all of that. They have the exact same record as the Detroit Tigers, and Marcus Semien's numbers are dwarfed by Riley Green's. I know it's different positions, but Marcus Semien is having one of the worst seasons of his life. He should just be on his knees thanking God that he chose second base when he teamed up with Corey Seager, and Corey Seager chose shortstop. So that's 1. And number 2, he's a little awkward on the field.
It's true.
He's somebody who doesn't always look pretty. He runs a little bit funny.
He runs like a Tyler.
He doesn't have the flair of like an Ellie De La Cruz or a Jazz Chisholm, or he doesn't pimp home runs like Colt Keith, which that home run pimpage actually makes people like him more than a Riley Green. He's not like a Fernando Tatis Jr. He's a little clunky out there, but he gets results. He gets results, and that I also think that makes people not realize that he actually is a hell of an athlete.
All right.
Number 3, baseball is a game of failure. The reason why I say that is if you watch a couple of games in which Riley Green just doesn't play well. For example, if you watched 10 Tigers games and in 4 or 5 of them you saw Riley Green go 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 or 0 for 3 with a walk or something like that, you might say, this is the guy that we're so hyped about, but that happens to everybody. Prime Barry Bonds went 0 for 4 from time to time. Prime Ted Williams, prime Mickey Mantle, prime Willie Mays, you name them, they've gone 0 for 3, 0 for 4. That's why usually actually every single season except for 1941, at least in the live ball era, I believe, every single batting champion has a batting average under 400 because you fail more often than you succeed. If you watch one baseball game, one Tigers game, you might think, and this hasn't actually happened this year, but it could, that Javi Baez is the best baseball player you've ever seen and Riley Green is a bum because there's 162 of them and you fail oftentimes. Number 4, he's not Spencer Torkelson. I truly believe that there is a segment of Tiger fans in this chat that if this were Spencer Torkelson putting these exact same numbers up, that you would be blowing loads over it. Because people were seduced by the 30 home run, 90 RBI season. But the reality is that, and I foresaw this more than anybody, not trying to brag again, is that Spencer Torkelson did have 30 RBI home runs and 90 RBIs, but his slash lines were troubling. 233 average, 313 on base percentage, 758 OPS. Those aren't great. That's why I was always a Riley Green guy over Spencer Torkelson guy, but people just really love the torque bombs. People saw Riley Green as somebody who was good but couldn't stay healthy. But now that he's staying healthy and he's actually proving people like me right who were higher on Riley Green, you kind of want to resist it a little bit. And number 5, and this kind of goes out to the old heads versus Google boys like me. The advanced analytics favor him more than the traditional stats. Terry Foster likes to bring up the fact yesterday that Riley Green has a batting average that looks pedestrian. I think it's like 258 right now because he did go 0 for 4 yesterday. But there's more to just judging baseball players, and I'm so glad that we've gotten past that to some point than just batting average, home runs, RBIs, stolen bases. Because when you look at those numbers, his batting average doesn't look great. His home runs, RBIs look good, but it's not like 20 and 50, and he doesn't really run. My numbers that I always point to with Riley Green are the top 10 OPS in the American League, the top 5 in the AL in walks, having one of the best on-base percentage out of AL outfielders, having a top 10 WAR out of American League players. Those are the things that I look at that favor Riley Green more than their traditional stats. So if any of that applies to you, just let me know in the chat. I'm sure you will.
All right. Hey, you know what, man? Look into that camera, Flannel Sam. Give him that non-smarmy smirk.
I'm just saying. Was that a window into your soul?
Flannel Sam.
Flannel Sam, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I really like that list, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, because it does paint a picture of just how a lot of people, and I view him, probably 3 out of those 5. I understand some of the detractors. And if you were to take Chuck's approach and there were only one player allowed on, sub 500 teams, or if there's whatever threshold, of course, Tarek Skubal's your all-star no matter what. Riley Green doesn't even come close. But the fact that there is no limit, you're comparing Riley Green against the other outfielders in the American League. He's a top 5 outfielder. Yeah. And that's it. Like, Brett Rooker, like he said, he's the snub if there's any. Not the guys who finished behind Riley Green. Colton Cowser, your boy Alex Verdugo.
Oh, he's so bad. I
Mike
hate
Trout,
that guy.
legend, doesn't deserve it this year. And whoever the third guy is.
Yeah, Colton Cowser's terrible. And oh, by the way, and this is another one, and I'm not trying to dunk or anything like that. It shows MLB2 how fleeting that this is. You look at a guy like Bo Bichette, who's completely fallen off the cliff. But quiet as kept, do you know who has really fallen off a cliff this season? Broder, you probably know this because you follow baseball really close. Julio Rodriguez of the Mariners. He is having a terrible year, where people the season before would have thought that putting Julio Rodriguez and Riley Green in the same sentence was an insult. But he's fallen off a cliff. Could it happen to Riley Green? Maybe, but my thing with Riley Green that I've always liked is that when it happens this year, every single season he has played on the Detroit Tigers, he has led the team in on-base percentage. Yeah. That's the type of skill that you can't teach. That's the type of stuff that I always praise Juan Soto for, that I believe Riley Green has on a lesser level, of course. That strike zone discipline to where he can go through a slump, but he'll never swing at bad pitches. He will take his walks when he can get them. So I think that will keep him from completely falling off a cliff like Julio Rodriguez has.
That shows you about baseball, though. Like Julio Rodriguez, many believe is one of the better players if not the best young player coming up in baseball. And he's had, we'll call it a slump for now. It might be a whole year of a slump, but that's just how difficult it is. He's going to need to make an adjustment this year, from year to year, each year now, with the pitchers getting so well, with the batting average around baseball going down so rapidly. Like, it's going to be all about making adjustments. That's why I'm so bullish on Colt Keith. That's why I'm actually starting to come around more on Riley Green. Deserving of the All-Star game, that's in its own category. I haven't been a massive Riley Green believer of maybe he's the long-term star to build around an offense. I don't know. What I have liked about him this year is that approach at the plate. It's that strike zone discipline, which in past, even while leading the team in on-base percentage, I wouldn't say his strike zone discipline has been so great, or his mechanics to his swing. He would strike out a lot. He would swing under the ball a lot. It just wasn't. I didn't see it translating to consistency. But now that he's starting to draw walks and get on base, there's so much more you can do, like steal bases.
Well, he actually doesn't. He actually doesn't do that. But you know what else he hasn't done this year?
He gets batted. He can get batted over, right?
He can get batted over,
right?
But not by a sacrifice bunt, by a single or a walk. But no, Riley Green to just
put a bow on it.
You know, I did the whole thing about him being third in the AL in walks, or tied for third with Gunnar Henderson, to kind of further your point on strike zone discipline. And he's kind of proven my belief that he has that special gene, if you would call it. There's only 2 players in the American League that have more walks than Riley Green. Their names are Juan Soto and Aaron Judge.
Wow.
Pretty good. Guys you will be seeing in Cooperstown the year that they're eligible.
And Donnie said, Green's numbers would only be better on a team that had guys who don't hit 125, 185, 189. Yes, 3 guys in our lineup last night hit that. How much more special does that make? Kind of what he's doing right now. Obviously, he's an all-star, but you see what this lineup is around him. You know,
we'll get to that after break.
Ooh.
I'll answer that question, and then we'll get into the Tarek Skubal talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
But first, tell us about Lady Jane's Kool-Aid.
Hey, I will. Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back and relax, and let one of Lady Jane's talented hairstylists make you look and feel great. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How? Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at RandyWiseBuickGMC.com.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy and every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that D-Mac trusts. That's right, 4-time Stanley Cup champion D-Mac trusts Dr. Jeff Pierce, and you should too. Why? Because he's here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for kicking off the day with the Woo Crew. The entire starting 5 is in the building. Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad. What up, though, brother?
Hey, what up? And before I answer that question about Riley Green, I just wanted to say to Chuck Brewer, you did defend yourself, I think, well when I gave that barb that he said he's been tuned out of baseball for the last 10 years. He did clarify that he's been tuned into the Tigers, not just Major League Baseball as a whole. And if I if I'm not mistaken, Chuck, you live in Europe, and I'm sure it's hard to follow American sports. And the fact that you even watch this show and follow the Detroit sports teams is a testament in and of itself.
Shout out, man.
Chuck Brewer is one of the GOATs, man. One of the OGs.
Did I go a little bit too hard on you? Yes. Were you dead wrong about Riley Green? Yes. but that's all right. That's all right. The back and forth thing is what I love. But yeah, to answer your question about Riley Green, I mean, we all can agree that Mark Canha has really struggled lately.
Yeah.
He's second on the team in on-base percentage still. So that just shows you how little protection Riley Green has. When you go up against this lineup on any given night, Riley Green might be the only one that you fear. Like the only one. So yeah, protection helps. Protection will help you see more pitches to hit instead of having pitchers pitch around you. But to Riley Green's credit, he doesn't force it. That's what I like. He's going to get pitched around because he's definitely the best player on the team, best offensive player on the team. On any given night, he might be one of the only competent hitters. So he's going to get pitched around, but he'll take his walks instead of force it. That's one of the reasons I love him so much.
Yeah. Now look, shout out to Weezy D313 in the chat. We know that the Detroit Tigers trade deadline is on the way. And the name that's been, I don't know if it's been polarizing, but you've heard some commentary on both sides that support trading Tarik Skubal and keeping him. He says, I trade Skubal for Kirby/Gilbert and Julio Rodriguez if his stock is low. Trade deadline's on the way. The Detroit Tigers, they don't just need a bat or two. They need bats.
Yeah.
They need proven bats as well if you want this thing to really get off the ground quickly. Those stats earlier about the 2 runs were absolutely insane. Tarik Skubal, man. Me personally, I saw the poll in the chat. If you can kind of get those numbers ready too, JB, if you haven't. It's like, to me, my option, no. He's way too good. Way too good. You look at what Skubal's been doing this season as well and what he's meant to the Detroit Tigers and effectively being able to pencil in a win whenever he's out there on the mound. You just see the type of effect that he has on the game, being able to take this thing 7, 8 innings each game. Broder, talk to me about Tarik Skubal, man.
Yeah, well, I want to pose a question. I hope someone calls in so we can debate this, but it's something we didn't get to talk about it yesterday. Obviously, he pitched a gem on Sunday. We didn't get to talk about it yesterday since we were at the golf outing and not able to take calls. But after he pitched, and I know Woodward Sports put out a post about should you trade Tarik Skubal now?
Mm-hmm.
His value is so high. It's not an outrageous thing to bring up. As a fan, most baseball fans in Detroit, and I'll say it from a fan perspective, I don't want to see Tarik Skubal go. He's, if not the best pitcher in baseball, a top 5 pitcher, top 3. He's a lefty. I love everything about having him on the Tigers, but it has to be considered based on where this Tigers team is now, based on their timeline to compete, based on what we know or don't know about the owner spending money. The frustrating part is that in baseball, you can change things, you can push things along faster or put together a more competitive team in the now and the today by spending money. So it really does all fall back on ownership of how much are you willing to spend through the rebuild to speed it up while you're rebuilding. Yeah. But when you have the argument for the argument to consider trading him, when you have a piece like this, a pitcher, one of the best in baseball, he's 27 years old, he's got 2.5 more years of team control, he's getting paid $2.35 million. His value to other teams is monumental. Like, it's to the point where you could get a historic haul. And that, to me, that's the only reason. That's the only time you do it, is if you get something historic back. But that's a possibility. It's not a possibility at the trade deadline, in my opinion. You're not getting major league ready bats now. No contender, which is who wants Skubal. They want to go chase a World Series. They're not giving you a major league bat or even likely their top prospect, a top offensive prospect who's close to the bigs to hit. So if you want the best haul, it's got to be in the offseason. Yeah. But there's consideration at the trade deadline. We might see him start in the All-Star game. That'll help raise his stock. But at the end, it's all about what you get back. But timeline, this team is 2 years away from competing. Like, for real competing. 2 years away. At that point, you got to talk about how much is Skubal going to make.
Yeah. And you know what? There's a lot of distinctions that you clarified there. I like the point about Terry Scuba at the deadline and the fact that there's not going to be what contenders are giving up their sure bats at that point in time. And so waiting until what? They cook up some of these things during like the winter meetings and such during the off season.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be, if you were ever going to trade a Scuba, probably where it's cooked up. I'm glad you called that out. And I think you have to be fair. You have to look at the different options. It's kind of like what we talk about on the opposite end of the spectrum with the Pistons young guys. We're not saying that we're ready to give up on them, but sometimes you have to address all of the options to really move this team forward. And that's sometimes why you have young players. You want them to be assets to you. And this is my philosophy, as I'm sure it's every single team's philosophy. You want these players to be assets to you, the highest valuable assets, if you keep them on the roster or if you're going to trade them. And with a guy like Terry Scuba, it's like, man, he offers a lot. Even though we know that you could probably pencil in a win every single time he's out there on the mound, you did pose a question yesterday. It's 1 in every 5 days.
You hit it perfectly. Like, and I hate to take this route. I'm a pitcher, and I don't want to throw. I don't want to say this, but
you look uncomfortable,
he
bro.
pitches once every 5 days.
Yeah.
He's 10-3. He's having a historic season, and the Tigers are 5 games under 500.
Oh, man.
So that has to factor into the equation. John Macaroon brought up in the chat a great point: injury. He has had Tommy John before. He has had a back injury before. Even if he hasn't, or even if that was 10 years prior, that's something you have to worry about with any pitcher in the big leagues, especially any pitcher throwing 100. I'd like to tell you, and I do believe that his mechanics are so good where I think he's doing the right things to prevent injury in the future. But sometimes Father Time and Mother Nature, they lock that door and they get after it in the bedroom, and you never know what's going to happen. I don't know where that analogy came from, Broder. It just flowed out. But you know what I'm saying? And last point, because I think we might have a caller.
We do.
We do. It sucks to bring this up, but it plays a role, maybe not a top 2 role in this conversation, but the Bally Xfinity saga going on, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Like right now and for the foreseeable future, I don't want to say everybody can't watch Tarek Skubal because there are outlets where you're able to, but that's a big chunk of money that the Tigers likely won't be able to bring in the near future.
Yeah.
And it's just people aren't able to see him as much. Not everybody can see him every time he pitches. So it's there are so many factors in play. As a fan, I definitely don't want to see him. If you can get something historic back. What did Weezy say? He was talking about Kirby/Julio Rodriguez. Like, I don't know if even that's enough, but that's where I start raising my eyebrows. 2 major league a starting major league pitcher and a possible perennial MVP candidate with his stock low.
Man, you know what? I know we got a caller on the line. I want to get to the caller in the next segment as well as this. This is kind of interesting. Just a fan said, so trade Skubal and trade Cade because they're the best trade value. I think the nuance with those 2 players is that they could potentially get you a haul that goes beyond a good trade value. On the Pistons, a good trade value could be Isaiah Stewart because of the potential that he's showing and the progression he's showing in his game to be potentially a stretch big. But Cade Cunningham, in NBA terms, has the opportunity to get you a whole lot more than that. And Skubal, you're going to talk about Skubal, one of the best pitchers in the game.
Border and superstar.
This is not about a good return or a good trade value. This is about, like you said, a legendary or a historic haul in return. You're talking about fielding potentially a wild card team next year if you're able to get the right types of bats in return for a Skubal. Yeah. And this pitching doesn't cater with without
they're
them.
the 2 stars. Their names, we're only talking about them like this, not because like they're not the best players or they can't win into it's they're the most value while we have 2 rebuilding teams that are 2 to 3 to 4 years away. It's all of it combined. No, we don't want to trade Cade or Skubal.
Nope.
But those teams aren't going to be ready with those 2 for 2 years. So the thought has to be out there. You have to do your due diligence as a front office in both cases. Ideally, you keep them and you build around them. That comes down to Chris Ilitch and how Trajan Langdon can manipulate the cap to bring in the best people for the Pistons.
It's going to be a ride, man.
You look at it, and I'll wrap this up right now because we'll get to break. But the Cleveland Guardians, maybe we can bring it up on the way back. The Guardians, they trade away Cy Young pitcher after Cy Young pitcher after star pitcher and just continue to reload. Like, there are ways to do it.
This is a good conversation. You know what? I'm going to get back, man. Let's get back to this. I got to tell you guys about Swiss. Callers, definitely call in as well. 313-552 6322. Those phone lines are open once again. 313-552-6322. We're going to get into callers in the next segment as well. But now more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss Insurance will make sure your carrier is not slipping in any extra fees.
Thought I told you that we won't stop. We won't stop.
Take that.
Hey, all you gotta do is call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698, or visit them online at swissins.com and let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Somebody say merge?
Somebody said that Detroit signed shirt.
Nobody said that. But look, go to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab. I'm telling you right now, we are dropping new designs every single week. We got to cover up this Welcome to Detroit t-shirt with the hashtag Boo Them Kids.
Boo Them Kids.
It's out right now that you need to go and get yourself. We also got Tiger sweatshirts, and we also got the Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes election t-shirts, hoodies, and hats as well, too. I know I'm going to vote for them. I don't know about you. But go over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab. I'm telling you right now, new designs dropping every single week to get you prepared for training camp. It's coming soon, baby.
Coming soon.
What up, though, people? Shout out to KG with the Yin Yang Twin ad-libs as well. I love it. Get all the hip-hop references today. So now you got Fabulous, you got Yin Yang Twins. I bet you didn't know that you were going to get that blast from the past today. But welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys. Go ahead and smash that like button. The phone lines are open, 313-552-6322. And I know we got a caller on the line right now, and I believe it's one of our OGs.
Yeah, it is. It's my guy Chase Amley on the phone.
Chase, hey, Chase supports at all of the
guy?
live events as well. What up, though, Chase?
Chase. I hear him.
Yeah, I hear him.
Chase, where you at, bro?
Maybe he put the phone down.
Chase going once.
We're going to hear his secrets.
Chase going twice. All right, I'm going to put you back on hold real quick, man, because I think you there still. But
hey, what up, man? Can you hear me?
Hey! What up, though?
Leave us in suspense like that, man.
Yep. We got you, brother.
I'm not sure. I can't hear you guys right now or anything. I'm not sure if it's possibly muted or something. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Oh, damn.
No, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Tell him to make his point, definitely.
Well, he can't hear us. Chase, if you...
Yeah, in the chat.
All right, Chase, call back, man. Call right back. I'm going to hang up. Call right back, man.
All right, so while he's calling back, we were talking about, I think I brought up before the break, the Guardians, the Indians. They traded Bartolo Colon. They traded CC Sabathia. They traded Cliff Lee. And they got some decent returns back. And we're talking the Michael Brantleys of the world, the Grady Sizemores, who is an incredible talent. His career was cut short due to injury. What were some of the other trades they had? I had a couple notes. Oh, Michael Brantley, Cliff Lee, Carlos Carrasco. There have been trades that haven't worked, though. So, again, it all depends on this timeline with Tarek Skubal. But he's also not the only name that's going to be considered at the deadline. In fact, he's probably maybe least likely of the pitchers we're going to talk about going to be moved at the deadline. And KG, feel free to cut me off when Chase is ready. But we're talking Jack Flaherty. Reese Olson's name might be dangled at the deadline. We could talk Urshela, Marcana. We'll get into some of these names after we talk to Chase.
Yeah, let's try this again. Chase, you on Wake Up Woodward, bro?
I don't know if it's working.
Chase.
If you could talk to him on a talkback line.
Yeah. Chase, can you hear us?
We could just tell him we're going to go right to him. He can just make his point if he wants to.
All right. Yep. I got you. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
By the way, when you put the word injection next to a
Hey, what's
injury,
up, fellas? How's it going this morning?
Pause. Chase, good. How are you? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
There's like a really big delay from when I speak and then when you guys can hear me.
Are you able to talk to him offline?
Yeah,
KG?
let me.
Can you tell him
Anyways,
offline? Just
I was
tell
just
him
going to say real quick, I
when
don't
he
think we should
talks
trade
just to make his
Skubal.
point.
He's making his point
I'm
now.
going to use a quick analogy to compare it to. I think Skubal, the Dylan Larkin of this team. I think you could compare Riley Green as that young gun, like Lucas Raymond coming up. I know Broder made a good point with other teams like Cleveland and Tampa Bay being able to develop pitching. I just don't think we've seen the Tigers be able to do that, so I don't know if it's something the fans necessarily trust.
Fair. We should probably say thank you there. I appreciate Chase.
Man, shout out Chase for understanding the assignment and just was like, you know what, I'm gonna get my point. And it worked. And it worked. And that let me just say this. I am against trading Tarik Skubal, especially right now.
Yeah.
We can maybe revisit this in the offseason, but one of the reasons why is that I'm not so sure the Tigers are selling yet. I said it before that if you want more competent bats on this team, put in Carson Kelly and Andy Ibanez every day. That's my solution. And I've been bullish about that for the last couple weeks or so, that those are guys that don't get as many at-bats as some of the other guys on the team. I think Carson Kelly is 10th on the team and Andy Ibanez is 13th, but they have some of the best hitting stats of any players on the team. And Andy Ibanez, for those of you who like traditional stats, leads the team in average. If you put those guys in the lineup every single day, along with Riley Green, along with Mark Canha, along with Matt Vierling, and along with Riley Green, and then Colt Keith, that's the starts of, I think, a pretty competent lineup. And then from there, if you need Jake Rogers to catch, he can catch. If you want Gio Urshela in the lineup, you can have him. If you want Justin Henry Malloy, Parker Meadows when he gets back, you can have him. I don't think that's as bad as people are saying. And to me, one of the reasons, too, why I think this might not be as behind as you think, which by my definition, I don't think they need a Tarik Skubal trade, is because I think the Cincinnati Reds series, although it may be a little bit up high in the sky, was kind of a window into what the Tigers' future could be. One of the reasons I like that series so much is you saw standout performances from 6 guys who could be a part of this team's future. Reese Olson and Tarik Skubal both pitched gems. Colt Keith had probably his best series as an MLB player. Riley Green had a hell of a series. Wensiel Perez had a hell of a series. Parker Meadows, unfortunately, it ended with him getting on the injured list. He had a hell of a series. I don't think it's as bare as people think. And another thing I think before I get to UKG is that if you need to replenish the system, which I know if you're trading Tarik Skubal, it's not just about the system, it's about ready major league bats. If you want to replenish the system with a better return than I think you could get if you decide you want to sell, I think Mark Canha, Jack Flaherty, and Carson Kelly can get you more than people think. Only if Mark Canha doesn't completely fall off a cliff, but if he can stabilize it a little bit, those are 3 guys that can get you a better return than you think. KG.
Yeah, now I'm with you guys that I want to keep Skubal. I would sign him long term, but it absolutely has to be on the table, especially in the offseason. You're not really going to get much during the trade deadline this year. But am I crazy for thinking that if Tarik Skubal can get the Cy Young Award, then I think you really should consider trading him at that point. I'm looking from a sell high perspective. I'm looking from the perspective that you have a Chris Fetter on this team. You have a wealth of pitching on this team. It seems like they can develop pitchers on this team. If Tarik Skubal were to win the Cy Young, I think you would get your highest return at that point, and you can really jumpstart this thing. I know you're relying on your Max Clarks, your Kevin McGonigal's, your Lees in the next 2 to 3 years, but at least in the meantime, you would field a very competitive team up until those guys get there, and even when they get there, they would have time to adjust to a learning curve. If they don't come in and make a right away impact. Am I crazy for thinking that?
I don't think you're crazy for thinking that it would be maybe his highest value, because a Cy Young, that carries a lot of weight. Yeah. And at the rate that Tarek Skubel's going, he's got to be the favorite.
Yeah, a Cy Young with 2 years arbitration years left on his contract.
2 years of team control. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. So if you want Tarek Skubel for a couple of years, you can have him, and it's compelling. But and Easy agrees with me, and this is something that I'm going to continue to be bullish on until I'm wrong. Is that I think I want to keep Skubel. I think the Tigers are closer than people realize. Maybe I just have a bit of a soft spot for a Moneyball type team, a Moneyball type rebuild. I think that's the position that Scott Harris has put them in right now, and I think they can do it. I really do. I really think if you put Andy Ibanez and Carson Kelly in the lineup every single day, that their offense would be better. I really believe that you can keep some of the young guys and make a core by keeping Skubel and Reese Olson and guys like Green and Perez and Keith and Parker Meadows. And then in the offseason, make a guy like Jesse Winker your number one free agent target. Maybe make it a priority to re-sign Mark Canha. And then next year have a lineup in which you have Riley Green, Jesse Winker, Mark Canha, and Kerry Carpenter. That's not bad. And in the case of Riley Green, Mark Canha, and Jesse Winker, do you know what that means? Bases on balls after bases on balls. Walks. That's all.
Yeah. Bars.
You look at Jesse Winker's lifetime on base percentage. Take a peek, everybody. Take a peek. It's beautiful. It makes me feel a certain type of way. But you know what? It should make you guys feel a certain type of way as well.
Is it desk raising?
If the Tigers sign Jesse Winker in free agency,
be nice.
I would be the happiest person in the world that happened. Because again, a Moneyball god. That is what Jesse Winker is. He's a Moneyball god.
Hey, let's rock, man. And you know what? I agree with Speakeasy as well. I want to keep Skubel, but I think the Tigers are closer than people realize. I see corrected as well than people think. But you know what? A team that is what people think is the Detroit Lions. So we got to move from one jungle cat to the king of the jungle, the Detroit Lions. And you mentioned the word position. And there's a question here. The 33rd team asked, who is the best defensive line duo in the NFL? We got the Lions training camp a couple weeks away, and Aiden Hutchinson and DJ Reader wound up on this list. Let's rock, man. Also here, Daniil Hunter from the Texans and Will Anderson Jr. The Browns, Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith. The Raiders, Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins. There's a lot of conversation that can be had there. And then is there any duo that's missing from this list?
Ooh, you know what? I think we should talk about it after the break, because that's a good transition. We can give people an entire Lions segment, which we haven't done a ton of lately. But you know what? Nobody has any questions about the Lions being good. But you know what else nobody has questions about? Les Stanford, of course. Even our very own Spencer Raxter got a car from there, and he was very satisfied. And what happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Let's drive.
Waiting there with your Premier Pet Supply, man. Just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Stop Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
More.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Hey, welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. Sam Flannel was so kind to say, you know what? Let's just give the people a full Lions segment. We'll probably just take the Lions conversation all the way on to what's trending. So you guys better bring the energy. You know what I'm saying? Look, we here to chat all the time. I get it. You guys want us to be strictly a Detroit Lions network. Well, not you guys. Our diehards, the respect the coverage that we bring to the table for all 4 sports teams and more. But we know that the Detroit Lions are kings right now. They have Super Bowl expectations a couple weeks away from training camp. Let's get into it, man. I want to reset this. The 33rd team, they had a question that they posed about who the best defensive line duo was in the NFL. And we got our hometown Lions, Aiden Hutchinson and DJ Reader. They made the list alongside the Texans, another upstart, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. Danielle Hunter, that was a target that I know a lot of Lions fans were hoping that the Detroit Lions wound up with. You also got the Browns, Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith, and then Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins. And if there's anybody else missing from this list, you stated you would save it for this segment.
Yeah, I think if there's anybody missing from this list, I think you got to go San Francisco with Javon Hargrave and Nick Bosa. If you want to count outside linebackers too, which it looks like they're doing, I think you got to put DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons from the Cowboys. If you want to do, I'm looking at the Eagles. It seems like they should be represented. I mean, Bryce Huff, Jalen Carter, but it seems like they have kind of more of a, like a Josh Sweat. Yeah. They have more of like just a embarrassment of riches. I don't know if they have a duo quite like this, but yeah, when you look at these duos, there's a pathway for the Lions one, I think, being as good as any of them. Because I think with the Browns, Zadarius Smith is clearly the weak link. I'm not saying that he's a bad player. He's a damn good football player, but he's not quite what he was on the Minnesota Vikings. He's kind of the Green Bay Packers. He is a complementary defensive end. Christian Wilkins, I think DJ Reader can be every bit as effective as Christian Wilkins in their respective roles. Max Crosby's still better than Aiden. Will Anderson had one rookie year, a damn good rookie year. I think he projects to be really, really good. But I think Aiden's better than Danielle Hunter. So it wouldn't shock me if at the end of the season you're looking at this Lions duo. But even with the Lions, it's more than just that. You've got a Lee McNeil. You have the potential. You have the potential of, and Spenmo Rax always says this, but I think it makes sense. Can James Houston and Marcus Davenport combine to make one great defensive end? Maybe. Or maybe individually they'll be enough on their own because you've seen it from them before in respective seasons. So yeah, Lions defensive line. Isn't it funny how not that long ago it was considered such a weak point? Even last year, looking at the Benito Joneses of the world and the Bohannas and the Tyson Alualus and all of that. It's come a long way.
Bruce Irvin.
Right.
Bruce Irvin for
Uncle
one game.
Bruce.
Hey, Bruce Irvin.
Put Derek Carr on a stretcher for one
Bruce
game.
Irvin injured Derek Carr and cost the Saints that game because did you see Jameis Winston come in?
That's the Bruce Irvin game, man.
The Bruce Irvin, that is the Bruce Irvin game.
We only win that game because of him.
He injured Derek Carr.
It was crazy too. Flannel dog, you remember your pregame too leading up to that? And when it happened, you were the first person I thought of, man. Uncle Bruce. Shout out to Uncle Bruce.
Oh, yeah, because I was always the one that predicted quarterbacks getting hurt. Usually it involved Baker Mayfield. I'm like, he's going to injure Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. He was like, look, I don't wish injury on anybody, but he's going to get hurt.
That was always, I almost forgot. That was my thing. Like every week I'd be like, and he's going to injure. Usually it was Aiden Hutchinson injuring a quarterback.
But you said a couple names. Obviously, Davenport and James Houston. I'm wondering how much, in terms of what Brad Holmes has added to the defensive line, keeps these guys more fresh and, less prone to injury, being able to rotate and platoon that way. And then just the potential of an Aleem McNeil as well to be able to, like what does he have to do to elevate into what this duo could be with Aiden Hutchinson? Right now, obviously, the pairing is Aiden and DJ Reader, and we know those are some dogs. But Aleem McNeil, I think he's going to have a special season during this contract year bump.
You know what's funny? And I've been pretty consistent about this. I think the improvements from guys like Aiden and Aleem and hell, even Houston and DJ, even when you're a veteran, you can improve. I think a lot of it will come from them, of course, and just the progressions of their games. But I just think having more pieces around, like Aiden Hutchinson, to me, I don't think he has to really improve his play much. I think that he's going to get more sacks as a byproduct of more help around him. He's going to have, at least by PFF rankings last season, the best defensive line duo in the NFL. The only one that was better was Aaron Donald and Kobe Turner. We all know Aaron Donald retired. I think that's going to help more. I think having maybe a more consistent presence as the other edge rushing position and not having just a cast of characters that include like Josh Pascal and Charles Harris and the Okwara brothers and people like that, I think that'll help. And same with Aleem McNeil. Playing next to DJ Reader, that's hard to block. If you're a guard looking at DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil, that's a lot of, to quote the Heavyweights commercial, man meat. That's a lot. But skilled man meat. Man meat with moves. Man meat that can take up double teams. Man meat that can that has pass rushing moves instead of not just a bull rush. I think it's going to be huge. Man meat with moves. Yeah.
It's all plausible moments.
That's. I'm sure that'll be clipped somewhere, but that's okay.
But that's okay. Now, I'm putting the Lions in this group, either in the 2 or the 3 spot. And before I sort of give some reasons, I want to ask you guys, who's the weakest of this duo? Because I'm wondering if should Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, should they be in this group?
I think so.
Should they be one of the top 4? Are there any Jets, Quinnen Williams and
oh yeah, no, absolutely. You know what? You're absolutely right. Quinnen Williams and Hassan Reddick is better than at least a couple duos on this list.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
that's
so
a great one.
If they were in there, that might change things. But I think these two have, and we can talk about the entire defensive line. But I think what DJ Reader brings, I think it's going to help Hutch out so much. Like, I know you guys were talking about it, but even if it directly affects Aleem McNeil a little more, I think Aiden Hutchinson is still going to be the beneficiary of all that attention put on those guys in the middle.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that will lead to more sacks. I think Aiden Hutchinson makes that step forward this year, and I'm with you, Flannel. I think he's a step below Max Crosby. I still have Crosby better than Hutch. We're talking a little bit about it in the chat here with Denver Blair.
Yeah.
But Hutch is coming. Like, he's a step below, not like multiple tiers below. I think at the end of the season, he could be in that elite pass rushing tier with Max Crosby.
I agree. I think right now, and I'm the biggest Hutch slappy of them all. I've got Hutch in the pantheon of defensive ends in that 6 to 8 range. He's in the Khalil Mack, Josh Allen tier with guys like Bosa and Parsons and Garrett and Watt and Crosby at clearly the top 5 right now. But those are guys who are going to be enshrined in Canton, Ohio someday. There is an embarrassment of riches in the NFL when it comes to edge rushers, as there should be, because they're so important.
Oh, no, I was just listening. I was taking it in. But no, I totally agree. I would rank them 2 on this list personally, but I mean, they're not that far off, man. And if DJ Reader can just stay healthy, that's going to be the big key for the Lions this year. DJ Reader staying healthy, because he's such a disruption in the middle. He's not the best, pass rusher in the world, but he definitely takes up 2 people, and that will automatically free up Aiden for more sacks, man. So I really just, you want DJ Reader to stay healthy this year, and you will see the benefits.
And I'm wondering, with the improvements along this defensive line, how much more does it free up Aiden Hutchinson to kind of be used as this versatile hybrid kind of defensive line? Like, we've seen this guy kind of drop back into coverage as well. You're adding, and we've seen him have success there. How much does kind of the help along this defensive line give Aiden Hutchinson the opportunity to go out there and have an absolutely monster season, doing things we haven't quite seen from that position?
Deep play.
I definitely am predicting a monster season from him. And just, you mentioned Hutchin is dropping back into coverage. One of the greatest statistical anomalies you'll ever hear is that Aiden Hutchinson has more career interceptions than Sauce Gardner. and for the record, Sauce Gardner is arguably the best corner in the game. I am in no way, shape, or form disparaging Sauce Gardner. There is a lot more to playing the cornerback position than interceptions. He shuts down half the field. It's just, my point is it's a statistical anomaly. And yeah, he's shown that if he does need to drop back, or in the case of that game in 2022 against the Green Bay Packers, the one at Ford Field, he sniffed out that screenplay that he intercepted at the goal line. He's got the smarts to do it. He's got the football IQ to do stuff like that. And obviously
the goal line is where this improvement is going to be crazy.
Yes, and obviously we know what he can do rushing the passer and even playing the run. So yeah, monster season for Hutch.
He's just that good of an athlete. He has defensive player of the year potential.
Yep.
You know, we might talk about it from this season till the end of his career as being in the mix for defensive player of the year. Like, he has that type of potential, and we might see it this year. It might get, nudged along a little bit more, maybe a lot more, if the Lions consider a native of Pontiac, Michigan, a 32-year-old or currently a 31-year-old edge rusher on a team that's going into full rebuild or is beginning full rebuild at this moment. That's the New England Patriots. And that's Matthew Judon.
Everybody in the community has been like, pick, yes. Word to Flannel Sam.
You know, the question about Matthew Judon, and obviously in a vacuum, I would be jumping on this table if the Lions got Matthew Judon, is would you guys consider him not a depreciated asset, but he is coming off of an injury. He had 4 sacks in 4 games in that injury-riddled season.
Right.
He's a little bit older. Could you fleece the Patriots?
I believe so.
Maybe you could. That's the question. If you can fleece the Patriots, if you can just give up some draft capital, I would do it 100%. You could have, if you've got Aiden Hutchinson and Matthew Judon, like prime Matthew Judon, like double-digit sack multiple times Matthew Judon, even a sack a game last year in a limited sample size.
Sheesh.
Best edge rushing duo in the NFL? Yeah, 100%.
Would you give up a 3? And I say that in you might not have to, but Hassan Reddick with the Eagles, he went for a conditional 3rd rounder to the Jets. He's younger, I believe.
Yeah.
So you might not need to give up a 3rd, but I want to use that as a bit. I don't know if I'm willing to part ways with the Brad Holmes 3rd round pick. I don't know what the extension would look like. He would likely want an extension. He's in the last year of a 4-year, $56 million contract. Can you get him a Cameron Wake type extension, a 2-year, $27 million? Or I don't know what it would cost, but would you be willing to go as far up as a 3rd rounder for Matthew Judon?
Man, you talking about talking about maximizing that Super Bowl window.
Might be a rental.
That's when you do something like that, man. If you really believe that this is a move that puts you over the top within a year or two, then it's something that you got to strongly consider. But you make a great point, Broder. When you're talking about Brad Holmes and everything he's doing about the longevity of the success, he has already put out there on record that he wants this to be something that goes on beyond just a year or two or a cute season. Does kind of giving up that 3rd round pick, in which Brad Holmes and this front office can cook up, does that affect any of that? Especially for a team that already has Super Bowl aspirations as currently constructed.
I guess the question you also have to ask, and like I said, I'm pretty much all for it at this moment, but some gears are kind of shifting in my head a little bit. If you bring in a Matthew Judon, if you have to extend him, does that affect your ability to re-sign like an Aleem McNeil or an Ife Melifonwu? Those are the questions that you have to ask, unfortunately, because when you have a lot of good draft picks, as we've seen with Brad Holmes, got to get paid. Amon-Ra got paid, for example. Penei got paid. And there's going to be some that aren't going to be able to be on this team, regardless if you get Matthew Judon or not. If you get Matthew Judon, I think that might expedite the whole might have to get rid of Aleem McNeil process, especially if he has that monster contract year season that you're predicting and that we all think is possible. He might price himself out of Detroit. But Matthew Judon, is he also the difference between a Super Bowl and not? Does he give you more confidence in the defensive line? Are you worried at all about James Houston and Marcus Davenport? And there are reasons to be. Yeah. There are a lot more reasons to be worried about them as players than Matthew Judon.
That's very valid.
Yeah,
he may be.
Got to ask those questions. It's not fun to do, but you got to do it.
If you're not going to re-sign him, and he can also make the decision that he just wants to be here for the run and he doesn't want to re-sign with us. I don't know if I'm coming out of a third, man, because that's pretty high draft capital. And then you consider Brad Holmes. He traded. He had 2 4th-round picks in the previous draft. He traded one of them. I believe they still have one. But if I had the extra padding, then maybe I would consider it. But at this point, I mean, I don't know. He's 31. He's coming off of injury, and they don't want to pay him. So I'm not. I think a 3rd-round pick is just a little bit too steep. 4th or 5th, let's talk. But the 3rd round, that's a lot of capital for a guy that you may not keep. But will he make the difference? I believe so. Oh, yeah. You're looking at a 14 to 15 sack guy when healthy. Like Sam said, he played 4 games last year, had a sack in every game. So, I mean, and he's still pretty much, I wouldn't say in the prime. He's just off of his prime, but he's still a pretty good player that can definitely produce for you.
And here's my question as well, just kind of a nuance on what you're saying here, KG, because I think that a lot of this also has to do with the expectations we already have for this team. If he was the guy that you sign because his defensive line maybe has a lot less on it than it does right now, does that change anything if you believe, you know what, bringing this guy in now makes us one of these teams that can compete with the big fellas?
It absolutely would, but you have a Marcus Davenport. You brought DJ Reader in. You're looking forward to James Houston maybe having a bounce-back season, so you're not, like, desperate at this point. Like, maybe last year, absolutely, I'm risking that capital to go get a guy like that, and he's the perfect bookend to Aiden Hutchinson. But in this situation, I don't know if I'm doing that.
And I bring that up just because of the job, just to highlight the job that this front office has done just a year ago at the trade deadline, a season ago, not even a year ago, like some months ago. We were all like, what is he doing with the defensive line? You got to do this, that, and the other. And now we're like months later, like, yeah, I would like to have him, but it's not really urgent. Why? Because Brad Holmes has absolutely cooked up. When you talked about why you third round might be too much and 4th and 5th is we can talk, it's because of everything Brad Holmes has already added to this defensive line.
And he's not an F them picks type of guy. Even though we are in a Super Bowl window and we're trying to go for it, I would understand it, but he's just not the F them picks type of dude.
I'm seeing some support for some of the guys on this roster already as well. You know, Weezy D, 313 don't sleep on Pascal, and Levi.
Pascal too. You have more depth this time.
Yeah, but my thing about guys like Josh Pascal and Levi and by the way, I predicted a breakout season by his standards from Josh Pascal, is that you look at them, if they're depth pieces, if guys like them and John Kaminsky and then a guy like Mekhi Wingo, who was a draft pick, if those are depth pieces and not starters, you're very, very happy. You're thinking, okay, there's a lot of depth on this defensive line. It's that they can, I would say, fit the skill sets. And even if you add a guy like Broderick Martin in there, Broderick Martin can be like the poverty man's DJ Reader, and then Mekhi Wingo can be the poor man's Ali McNeil, sort of coming off of the bench. And with John Kaminsky and Josh Pascal, did you love them as starters? Not necessarily, but do you love them as depth pieces? Absolutely. And Levi O, if Levi O is like your 6th defensive lineman, that's not bad. He's certainly not a starter. He's one of the few Brad Holmes misses, but if he can contribute to a Super Bowl team in any way, then what really is a miss? What even matters at that point?
What even matters? You know what? We got to get to break. I want to get into this next segment. Randall Smalls brings up something interesting, too. Listening to KG, I think now Brad will wait till trade deadline to add to this team or possibly waiver wire.
That's a good point. Why risk a third on a rental when you do have the trade deadline still if you wanted to do something like that?
Hey, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. There's some strategy involved here, but we appreciate you guys for staying tapped in with Wake Up Woodward Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. As you guys already know, Woo Crew, we appreciate you all. Smash that like button to show your appreciation for us as well. And stay tapped in with all of Woodward Sports, starting with Big D Energy from 11 to 1. You got 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty alongside his co-host, the Golden Voice, Neil Rule. After that, you got Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 to 4. The lovable radio legend Tom Mazaway, alongside University of Michigan legend and former NFL wide receiver Brandon Edwards and Detroit media king Fox 2 Ryan Ermanni. Finish the day off with the Woodward Heavyweights from 5 to 7. Speak easy, baby. And Spin Mode Racks, they host the Woodward Heavyweights with their elite booth. The tailgate always wins. Shout out to Nick Koloff and Chris Platty. They're bringing you the biggest interviews, the biggest breakdowns, the biggest laughs. Man. Woodward Sports. Stay tapped in. We appreciate you guys for making Woodward Sports your #1 digital sports outlet.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper! Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit. The Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan 3C Sports League offers youth ages 5 to 14 with 6 exciting teams to choose from in Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. All coaches are trained, certified, and undergo background checks. Register for football or cheer at bgcsm.org. Equipment, meals, and transportation included for a chance to play for a championship at Ford Field for just $175 per child. Put the youth back in youth sports with BGCSM 3C Sports.
I'm reading the chat.
Yeah.
What is going on?
What up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward, man. Chat family, as always, you guys are epic. You're always on one word to the OG Eduardo O'Neal. Oh my gosh. And you know, we got to reset this thing. Go ahead and smash that like button. Call in if you would like, 313-552-6322, and start to get your mailbag questions in as well. We got the entire Woo crew in the building. We got a few more minutes of Lions talk before we get to cooking up something right now. But Randall Small, he posed this question of why not just wait to look at to kind of scour the waiver wire or the trade deadline if you're Brad Holmes. He's added a lot to this team already.
Yeah, I guess the answer to that is because whatever you might get in the waiver wire or at the trade deadline might not be as good as Matthew Judon.
It's true.
If you let a Matthew Judon go, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but with trades and with teams, it's always possible. If there is a deficiency on this defensive line, if James Houston and Marcus Davenport aren't cutting it, and then you see Matthew Judon play for whatever team and he has like 12 sacks, you're going to have the hindsight of, oh boy, maybe Matthew Judon would have helped. There's always that possibility, but there's also the possibility the other way that a Matthew Judon trade would not help this team enough to be worth the price. It's a hard game. I'm glad I'm not an NFL GM, although any MLB front office, if you want me, I'm available.
He's put himself in a position to not have to take big swings and misses. Like, he's done enough on this team to where there's no significant holes. If he wants to make a move like that, fine, but he's not like hamstrung. He doesn't have to if he doesn't want to.
I'd rather make a trade like that right now when you have leverage, or if it's not a high leverage negotiating period. Like, you wait till the deadline. Teams, if you're going to get Judon, the Patriots know you need Judon. You're going to make a run for a Super Bowl, and their asking price can get a little bit higher. Right now, Judon, it seems day by day, he wants out of there more and more. Patriots aren't any good. We don't need him now, like we're talking about.
Yeah, more of a luxury.
It's not a necessity. It's a luxury. One that would help at the deadline. But I think right now, say, hey, we'll do it for a 6.
Yeah.
Gerard Mayo, we'll do it for a 6th-round pick.
I'll even give you a 5th.
See what he says. Maybe, okay, how about a conditional 5th? Sure.
Yeah. You know what? This is interesting conversation because part of me is like, you know what? Do you wait until the trade deadline, see what you have, see what you need, see what the injuries are? But it's like, you can do that as well if you did bring in a Judon. But to me, this continues to boil down to what are the Super Bowl winning moves? Yeah. You've called your shot. If you believe this is that move that puts you over the top, you're going ahead and do it. If you believe that flexibility later on in the season when you can look at the trade deadline and see if you need to bring in a depth piece or two, or injury placement or two. There's a bunch of different strategies open, but because Brad Holmes is cooked, he's given himself every single option available.
Yeah, and you just wonder if Brad Holmes, I'd say to this point, even though the Lions have made a plethora of damn good moves, like DJ Reader seems like a great move. Kevin Zeitler, David Montgomery, we already know is a great move. Guys like that. He hasn't made the absolute splash where you're just like, oh my goodness, Daniil Hunter or Brian Burns or somebody like that. He hasn't done that yet. And maybe that's by design. Wouldn't it be funny if he's actually able to lead the Lions to the Super Bowl, primarily, even more so than other teams off the backs of the draft, without having to make a Chase Young or even a Montez Sweat kind of move? Yeah. I'm not saying that making those kind of moves are bad. I think both of them would have helped the team last year, but it didn't hurt the team too much that he didn't get them. We'll see. Brad Holmes just seems like that kind of guy that values his draft picks and trusts in his ability to draft, and the results speak for themselves.
Yeah. Speak for themselves, man. Yeah. I think that's it. Hey, look, do we need to, any more comments on this before we cook up?
We need to cook up.
We need to cook up.
Yeah.
I think everything was
well
stated. Definitely. Let's get in the lab. JB, you ready to cook up, brother?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, let's rock. Smash that like button for this.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Bizzle.
Let's rock.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What up, though?
What's going on? Do you guys know that Mommy is back? I know KG
She
does.
is. I do know Mommy's back.
Mommy's
they
back?
don't know nothing about that, though.
They don't know nothing about that.
though.
Mommy's
Broder,
back.
Oh.
I gotta ask you, could you have made this catch?
Ooh.
Back.
Oh, nice.
And he stuck the landing,
Quick
too.
answer is no. Second answer is that's a fantastic catch.
Jesus.
He
sign this man today.
Look at the aura.
Twist in air. He 1080 on N64. It was like a barrel roll.
Look at the strut after, bro.
One arm, too. That's crazy.
Yeah, stupid ass jersey colors, though.
That's when your girl is in the stands, bro. That's when she's there.
Right.
And you know.
I got to show out.
Oh, yeah.
And you go home and she's got balloons and some champagne for you.
Dinner
Olivia
cooked.
Dunn, Paul Skeens treatment.
Oh, my.
Ooh.
No, I couldn't make that catch, JB.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Chuck Brewer, Angels in the
thought you
outfield.
would've.
Seriously, Christopher Lloyd.
Angels in the outfield.
I thought you would have made that catch, Broder, man. I have faith in you. I still think
I believe he can do it,
man.
I know
not making
last
that
person
catch. He's a
Scott Harris
pitcher.
should want on his team. I'm very slow in the outfield.
Sad sight. It's a sad sight. But another sad sight, don't ever go to these truck stop bathrooms and don't push any buttons.
Oh, no. I like that's a brother. That's a brother for sure.
One more time.
Oh, I thought that was a brother. That's
Do not push the red button. He took the red pill, bro. Oh my God.
Hey, run.
It's his reaction to it, man. That just is dog.
I want that in my home.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
Is that going in the bedroom?
Freaky ass brother.
Or the kitchen.
FAB.
The whole thing. Clap, clap.
Oh my gosh. No.
You want Lizzie to pop up after you press the button?
Yeah.
My name is Lizzie. I'm from Canton.
JB's with the quickness, dog.
Every time.
You are
Quick draw McGraw over
damn
there.
wizard.
Oh,
He's a damn wizard.
Broder's hiding the blush.
Lizzie, if you out there, contact the show, please.
Lizzie, if you're out there, please.
We
please
trying to
give
hook
us
my
a
mans
call.
up.
Please give
Oh,
us.
If you ain't got
man.
no man, please contact the
We'll
show.
get you a Boodum Kids shirt
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
The one that got away, the ones that you fumble, those are the ones that hurt the most. Until you find your forever person.
Yeah,
But in the meantime,
Which may be Lizzie.
Oh my God, they used to, even ones from when I was like 22 used to haunt me. It's terrible.
Chuck Brewer said, Broder, when's the wedding?
Not on a Saturday in the fall.
Freddie felt
Fair.
Lizzie fans.
Yeah, like the rule number one, not 76. Rule number one: don't have a wedding on a Saturday in the fall.
Ooh, I had a wedding on the Saturday in the fall.
No, you didn't.
It was Michigan's bye week.
Okay, that's appropriate. That's appropriate.
It was Michigan's bye week.
That's so on brand for
What a
Cincinnati.
setup!
That's a true
What a
story.
setup, Flannel.
Hey, we got to get married on the bye week. I can't miss this game next week.
Wait,
Smart man.
we got a request from Brandon Dillinger.
Oh boy.
Can we see Fish Girl real quick?
Do you want to see Fish Girl?
That's what he
JB
asked.
can make it happen.
Right?
All right.
Oh my gosh, with the quickness, JB Smooth. Fish Girl fans.
Oh yeah, she get it in, man. It take a strong individual to do some shit like that.
A fish is hawked to it in her mouth,
It's the
bro.
fish is so slimy. It's like, you see how wet and slippery it is?
Hey, yo.
Would that be a good thing?
What? Give me another adjective to describe it. No, but like, oh.
We already established that you would do it, so don't act disgusted over here.
I know.
Don't
It's
act
like,
disgusted.
it's kind of hot.
Yeah, right.
I know you would do it. But it's kind of gross.
You would do it.
See?
It's mostly gross, actually.
See, thank you. See, we knew you had
Little
a name,
Colgate.
Broder.
Little Colgate.
Ryan's reaction
never
said,
hurt
"That's
nobody."
Queen." Yeah. Fish Girl.
Little Colgate never hurt anybody.
Oh,
Colgate never
God.
hurt anybody. But I gotta show you guys this video because have you ever been out to the ballpark and it's just been one of those?
Move on, bro, because our chat.
excruciating
Oh,
hot
there's some
days?
freakies, bro.
Yeah, there's some freaky stuff
They
going
asking
on
about
over
how
here
to a
in
girl
this
now.
chat. Oh no. There's some freaky stuff going on in this chat. But
Spit
have
on
you
that
guys
thing.
ever been to the ballpark on one of those super hot days that where, you know what? You just gotta take a shower right afterwards.
What?
Oh,
I saw this. This is cool.
all right, my man.
This is in a rain delay when they had to go under, and
Yeah.
this guy decided to take a little shower.
no.
All right, my dog.
Damn.
I ain't mad at you.
Need to get him
I hope
an
there's.
Axe Head and Shoulders or an Axe
That is definitely
shower body wash.
some
I
white
hope
people
there are
shit.
no fans in the downstream, like wherever that's like draining off to.
WPS, man.
Yeah. The second floor bathroom's draining.
You ain't seeing no brothers doing that. That's all I'm saying.
No, you definitely not seeing no brothers do that. But what you are seeing a brother do, and shout out to Kool-Aid for sending over this one. But Tiger Woods, my man, he's got an insane mini golf course
Bro,
that
bring
is
this-
up in Arizona right now.
Bring it here.
Which
bring it here.
I really think we need here because I'm a fan of mini golf. I'm not a fan of golf that much. Not like our president, Mr. Neil Rule and D Mac are, but still, I would do this.
Oh my God.
This is so awesome. I like this, man. I like the idea.
36 holes?
That's dope.
36 holes. That's a lot of holes.
Wait, what's it called? Tell me what this is. It's called Power Stroke. Pop Stroke.
Power stroke.
You power
Gee.
stroke.
You are
Maybe
shitting
dog.
nasty.
Power stroke.
Nasty.
Nasty. 218 holes. Who's that, by the way?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But, I don't know. She might be there. But bring this to Detroit, please.
Yo, I like it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
It looks really good in
Put Top Golf
Scottsdale,
to
though.
shame.
Like, it looks really fun in Scottsdale. You know, it's outside. You're playing mini golf. I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
a sweet
love
looking course.
I like it, man.
Very sweet looking course.
They'd have to have
That's it
some
for what's
indoor
trending,
ones
you
too,
guys.
though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Michigan will tear that course up.
Yeah, yeah.
Over a few
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have some indoor ones. Hey, but you know what? You can do a lot. You can do a lot with that, man. I like the idea. It was
Definitely
really cool,
could.
man. I saw it.
But that's it for what's trending. Let's get into some mailbag.
Hey, you cooked up, man. You cooked up. Do we got to handle any business?
Yeah, a little bit. Hit them with Dispo, and then I'll do Siroki's.
All right, so we'll
Hey.
take a quick little break then,
Yep.
and then we'll come back with filming. Okay, let's rock.
This summer, Dispo Dispensary is turning up the heat with amazing giveaways and exclusive offers. Enter for a chance to win a signed football jersey and helmet from your favorite sports team. Screenshot this image with the QR code, bring it into one of their locations to get scanned, and you'll get a free $10 to spend in store right there. This will automatically qualify you for the giveaway. Dispo Dispensary, visit today, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
And since I don't have the read up quite just yet, let me tell you about Siroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. They
It's
are
fire.
taking over Michigan. They are known for their quality hand-battered and hand-breaded chicken tenders, chicken sandwiches, and you can't forget about the New York-style pizza as well, too. Locations are actually popping up all over Metro Detroit. They're doubling their number of restaurants this year alone. And might I add, Siroki's has just had their grand opening in Madison Heights. So be sure to stop in and try one of their mega stations near you. Or as always, you can order online at Sirokis.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
Andy.
How would you like to play the University of Michigan golf course with Braylon Edwards? It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Register today and you could round off our foursome at woodwardsports.com or scan the code on the screen. When it comes to your next car or truck, make the wise decision. Randy Wise Automotive.
Let's go. Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We just cooked up. We had some great segments, great conversation today. I had a couple segments of Detroit Lions talk, and the chat family has been on one today. Go ahead and smash that like button to support your Woo crew. We got to get into this mailbag segment. You got that, Feldman Reed?
Absolutely. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. Catch Woodward Sports Network live from Feldman Chevrolet of Novi tomorrow, actually. We got Wake Up Woodward there and Big D Energy, so come out if you want to buy a car, just inquire about some things, and say hello to us at Wake Up Woodward and the Big D Energy crew. It is Feldman Automotive.
Hey, let's rock. And you know what, man? 2 remotes in a week, man. Let's cook up, man. Let's go. Can't wait for this. And let's get into this mailbag. It's time for the Wake Up Woodward mailbag segment presented by the Feldman Automotive Group.
Let's do it. Mike G, mail sack, flannel. When are you doing your preseason Michigan football preview?
Ooh, I think we're going to start that next week. It's about time at this point. It's funny how quickly time flies. It's August 31st at the Big House, Fresno State. That's not that far.
It's not that far. Football is right around the corner, and I can't wait. We were just talking during break. I'm excited about the prospects of the University of Michigan Wolverines football team.
Literally the prospects.
Prospects. Sharon Morris is showing me so much, man. I want to save a lot of commentary when we actually get into Michigan football, but
I got a question for you on that topic.
I'm excited.
On that topic from Dante151, what is your reaction to the son of Ike Taylor? I think it's Ivan Taylor. Committing to Michigan to play football after decommitting to Notre Dame. He's a 4-star cornerback.
It's not just getting prospects. It's also flipping prospects from big schools. And it's cool every time you see one of these prospects, you see this person chose Michigan over the Ohio States of the world. Yeah. I absolutely love it. I didn't know that Sharon Moore honestly had this type of pedigree as it relates to recruiting and his connection to the kind of NFL. I like it.
Yeah, and to stick it to Notre Dame, you got to love it.
Stick it to Notre Dame.
F Notre Dame.
It's the Wink Martindale effect, man. Exactly. When you want to get to the league, you play for Wink Martindale, man.
Yep.
Tell him, especially cornerbacks. He likes putting them out on islands. He's got Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant rushing the quarterback. Don't sleep on Michigan football this year.
Oh,
nah. Like, people are sleeping on them. I feel it.
The offense is going to be better than people think, too.
It's true. Edge, Nate Edgington, mailbag. Does Vladimir Tarasenko and Cam Talbot and Patrick Kane put the Red Wings into the playoffs?
Better be.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say. Better be. Or else you're going to hear from me.
Definitely a playoffs or bust type of season next year, right?
Yeah. Oh, dude, honestly, last season was playoffs or bust. If I'm being nice and kind, it's playoffs or bust. It should be win a series in the playoffs or bust. But even if they don't make it, the Steve bots will attack me. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Nate Edgington, one more from him. Edge, mailbag. If Brad Holmes hits on at least 3 draft picks this year that make an impact, is he the best GM in the NFL?
It's hard to argue.
Right now with prospect and talent evaluation, he's proving that he's one of those guys. We looked at that top 25, under 25 list, and you can kind of go around the league. You're always going to find the Detroit Lions representing about 15 to 20% of those lists. That's a testament to what he's done. Now it's about how do you continue to manage this thing moving forward. I think that's the next hurdle for Brad Holmes. Can you turn this from the short-term success that you've experienced into something long-term in which other teams are saying, you know what, that's the model that we must copy?
It's hard to do, man. It's hard to win with just majority homegrown talent. We've seen teams like the Chiefs do it. So if he does hit on some of these picks, man, you got to put him in the conversation at the very least.
At the very least. Bada bing, bada boom. Mailbag. Earlier, Sam alluded to Jesus Christ potentially being in the running to be the next skipper of the Tigers. Can you quote your sources? I don't see it anywhere.
That's not what I said. What I said, and this is just a philosophical thing with me, that I think A.J. Hinch has grossly mismanaged the lineup all season long. And I have what I think are solutions to what ails the team. It's not perfect. It could not work out, but I think Andy Ibanez and Carson Kelly should be in there every single day and not be pseudo platoon players. In the case of Andy Ibanez, he's not even really a platoon player. He plays like starts like one every 5 days. When I said that, and why I criticize Hinch is some people think this is the least talented offense they've ever seen, and it's terrible, and not even Jesus Christ himself could manage that team. That's what I meant.
Follow from Bada Bing, Bada Boom, a real one. Mailbag. If the Tigers package Flaherty and a good controllable reliever like Jason Foley, would you consider it if you got a nice bat in return, like Connor Norby or Dalton Rushing, for example? Do you do it?
I don't think you will get that, but I'd do it.
Flaherty and Foley to the Dodgers for a Dalton Rushing. I think you would probably need a little bit more, but
yeah, I don't think they'll do that. But I'd do it.
I would.
I believe in Chris Fetter and their ability to develop pitchers. They've shown that they can do that to this point. So I'm willing to sacrifice some pitching if it brings the right type of prospect or bat back.
Yeah. Dalton Rushing, he's a top catcher prospect for the Dodgers. They obviously have Will Smith. Who's the catcher? Kyle Teal for the Red Sox. I'd go attack him too. Harry Ford from the Mariners. I would love a catcher involved in a trade, even if it's not the top catcher in a system, someone who's got some potential. But in a Flaherty, Canna, or Shella Foley type trade, I would love to get a catching prospect back.
Well, Harry Ford, you'd be more likely, I think, to bring back a Harry Ford, who's a Mariners prospect, I believe. Yeah. That's somebody that you want to flip a position player for. Like, in my opinion, if you want to start the Harry Ford discussion, it's part of a Mark Canna package. And unfortunately, a Mark Canna package probably doesn't sound as attractive right now as a Jack Flaherty one, because the Seattle Mariners, they can pitch with the best of them. They just can't hit worth dick. But yet, they're still leading the AL West. That's why stay tuned for maybe a potential front office flannel soon where Mark Canna, if you want to flip him anywhere, Scott Harris, call the Seattle Mariners. They'll give you something.
Let's do it. Ryan's reaction mailbag. Better 2024 season, Chicago Bears or Washington Commanders?
Bears.
I was literally just reading that comment.
I was like, it popped up orange on my screen. Did you guys answer? I'm sorry.
Bears.
Bears
better than the Commanders.
Yeah.
Fair. Jaden Daniels a better season than Caleb Williams.
For the record, and maybe I shouldn't die on this hill. I like Caleb Williams as a prospect, but universally, it just seems like all Caleb Williams gets is hate. But Jaden Daniels, oh my God, that guy's going to be a generational superstar, no doubt about it. I don't understand it. I think they're both really good prospects, but I think Caleb Williams is better than Jaden Daniels. But if I say that, I'm insane for thinking the number one overall pick is going to be good.
I don't
That's
think
all right.
you're insane.
Well, you're not the majority. I know you I know you're not like bullish on Caleb Williams being Ryan Leaf. Yeah. You'll literally say Caleb Williams, and people will say Caleb Williams and Ryan Leaf in the same sentence, and you'd be like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. Have you looked at Ryan Leaf's stats?
Yeah.
He is the worst NFL player to ever live. ever. And he was also a malcontent. Have you seen Ryan Leaf, the video of Ryan Leaf in the Chargers locker room? He had to be restrained by Junior Seau yelling at a reporter, knock it off, or whatever the F he was saying. Ryan Leaf is a disaster. So to put Caleb Williams and Ryan Leaf and just be like, oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen, that's insane.
Oh my God.
I oddly have a weird soft spot in my heart for Caleb Williams. I hope he never beats the Lions.
Yeah.
Hope he never beats the Lions, though.
You know what, Flannel?
That's
you were
how we
on
end
fire
it.
this show. This is the Flannel show today. You were on fire today, man. Absolutely on fire. Got the crispy haircut. Got the lineup going. Out here looking like a young Grayson Boucher.
Mailbag.
You guys know who that is?
Mailbag. Who's the better flannel, clean shaven or bearded?
I like
Oh, that's a
Grayson
good one.
Boucher flannel. The professor over there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I think
Let's
I like
go.
bearded flannel
Yeah, I
better.
think
He always
bearded
come in looking like he got attitude and shit. That's the best, man. Look like he ain't slept.
Bearded flannel has that substitute teacher. You better shut up and do this work vibe.
Like I'm a spaz.
Which is ironic, because I was a substitute teacher in a previous life. Wasn't a great, was worst job ever, by the way.
Oh, man. Now he's over here educating people on the stats of the game. What a transition, huh?
You know, this is a more apropos for me, I would say.
Let's rock, man. You know what? And I'm glad that you chose this path as well. Love everything that you contribute to Woodward Sports.
You as well, Kool-Aid.
Hey.
You as well.
It's time to break this thing down. Let's get the chest pass going. Hey. Right in the pocket, man. Right in the pocket. Thank you guys for staying tapped in with Wake Up Woodward. Today, we appreciate you guys for being here. Mike G, when can I get my That's a Lot of Holes Kool-Aid drop? Oh my gosh. Chat, as always, you guys are the most important part of this Wake Up Woodward family. Go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't already before you leave the stream today. And if you have, we appreciate you guys greatly. Shout out to the veteran squad, Flannel Sam Reynolds, dropping the heat today.
It was a fun show. You know what? Honestly, it was a show that I needed because yesterday I felt like I was in Bizarro World.
Let's go, man.
I mean, when it comes to Riley Green, yes. When it comes to other topics, I might be a little bit against the grain. But Riley Green, I'm like you, Broder. I thought it was pretty universal once he got named, and then. But I'll tell you what, and this is where Terry Foster is great at his job and Stick is great at his. They still have a power that I don't have to be extremely persuasive, to the point where you had the chat saying that I was insane. Not all of you, but some of you. And I'm like, what are we doing? It's Riley Green.
It's Riley Green. I love it, man.
Anywho.
Hey, shout out to that dude, Justin, as well, sixth man of the squad. He is in the building, continuing to work hard. Thank you, brother, for capturing all the content that you did yesterday at the golf outing at Cherry Creek as well for the Detroit Sports Media Association Charity Golf Scramble. Appreciate you. And let's get to this booth as well. The elite, the wonderful, the stupendous, the miraculous.
There you go.
Hey, there you go, man.
Talk that talk.
The great. We got our booth boys, man. I was like, you know what? I think I'm out of it. Shout out to Detroit's number one draft pick. That is KG in the sound booth, a.k.a. Black Hollywood.
We gonna let you slide today. You know, come better next time. Nah, I'm talking shit. But good show today, man. Great. Shout out to the chat. Shad, I saw your mailbag. I would say the Shield number one, and then the Wyatt family as a close second. But yeah, come see us at Feldman tomorrow, man. We gonna kill it.
I'm gonna get on my flannel with these adjectives, man. I'm gonna prep, and one day come in here, it's gonna be a long list. Broder's gonna be so mad at me too, bro. Shout out to Woodward Sports' MVP. In the titty booth, it is JP Smooth over there laughing at me.
Hello. I'm just laughing at the chat over here. You guys been cracking me up all over here. You were wild. We definitely need to get these t-shirts printed up for Flannel and have a best of Flannel video collaboration going on. I guarantee you there's probably thousands of clips we could put together.
We need that, man. We absolutely need that.
Yeah,
it would be epic. It would be epic, man. Hey, look, it's your boy Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer. Before we close the show, we got to make sure we shout out the guy. Does a great job with these show sheets. And he's our credential Tigers and Lions reporter and writer, Matthew Broder, man. Thank you, brother.
Can't wait for the show tomorrow. Let's go.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Stay tapped in with the rest of Woodward Sports, and make sure you guys start tomorrow off with the crew. It's been Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you all. Have a blessed day.